There's a story out from the Atlantic today, which just can't understand. It cannot understand why so many liberals who believe in reason and science. Now understand, we're laughing at these new CDC guidelines about masking outdoors and things of that nature. But over there, on the other side of this is like cry freedom. Like you were telling me yesterday, this is the first soccer game you've been at where you're not the only person on the sidelines not wearing a mask, right?
Right.
The new guidelines about you don't have to wear masks outdoors, and now all of a sudden, Soccer Nation thinks it's safe now to go back outdoors without a mask, right? And so the Atlantic has this story out today where they're fascinated by the amount of people that follow reason and science that just want to hold on to this, even as standards get loosened. One of the problems that they're having in selling the COVID vaccine is, this is why they're talking so much in the media about India, except most of you don't care about India, so it doesn't land like it does if they're talking about New York. But the virus is in full-scale retreat in the United States, which then gives you less of an incentive to take a risk with an experimental substance, a non-FDA approved vaccine, particularly because you're the one that takes all the risk. The injectee is taking all the risk here. If something goes wrong, so I was at Walmart yesterday without a mask. Wasn't the only one there without a mask, by the way. And there was like no line whatsoever to get the COVID vaccine yesterday. Biggest Walmart in Des Moines. But they had a fairly good-sized area cordoned off where they asked you if you did come in to get the vaccine. And this is the first time now I'm starting to see these entities are putting all kinds of advertisements for the vaccine outside, and that it's free, no cost, we'll just give it to you. They can't get people to come in and get it for nothing. But cordoned off, and every chair was empty because there was like nobody there getting the vaccine yesterday afternoon. But cordoned off was a large, not insignificant area, I would say 10 to 15 seats, where they ask you to sit there for at least 15 minutes after getting an injection to make sure you're not immediately showing any visible side effects. That wasn't there the last time I was at Walmart just a couple of weeks ago. They didn't have that there. It's there now. See, you're the one that takes all the risk if you take the vaccine. You take it all. Something goes wrong, you're one of those incident reports. You can't sue Moderna and Pfizer. They're protected legally. And since it's not FDA approved, who do you hold accountable in government? Government gets to say, well, it's emergency authorization. It's not approved. We don't finish our approval process till 2023. Can't go after them really either. So the only one taking really any risk here is the average American who takes the jab. You assume all risk. All risk. Government's not accountable right now, and Moderna and Pfizer aren't, ever, by law. And so this Atlantic story is mystified why so many people on the left who follow reason and science don't want to let go of this. The same Atlantic that launched the COVID tracking project, which, take it as from someone who has looked at as much COVID data as probably anyone in American media has in the last year. Nobody slanted their data better and more in favor of panic porn while claiming to be objective than the COVID tracking project did. The Atlantic also ran a story about this time last year on Georgia's, quote, experiment in human sacrifice. Remember this?
I do.
By reopening too soon. And now, apparently the Atlantic was not expecting its own readers, because it ain't our people reading that stuff, right? The Atlantic was not expecting its own readers to believe in its own content. You guys seemingly are surprised over there at the Atlantic that your readers read your stuff. I mean, this story talks about a guy who logs on and writes poems to COVID. And no, it's not about Mike DeWine, the Ohio governor, although he does it too. But it's a Branch Covidian cult. It provides people a sense of meaning in their lives. Yeah. That's what's been driving most of this, the spirit of the age. And now all of a sudden, you know why? Weather's getting warmer. Over at the Atlantic, they got rid of Trump. They want to go back to Yankee Stadium, man. They want to be back. They want to go back to Hamilton for a third round. They want to see Wicked again. So they have a small problem. They did too good of a job cultifying. And now it's some of their own people and their own base and their own readers who don't want to let this go, who have gone full-fledged Schmiegel to Golem. And you will pry this from their cold, dead fingers. It's the precious. And as you read this Atlantic piece, you can almost hear the writer and the editors over there yelling, "Stop it! It worked. Orange Man was bad. We got rid of him. Can we go back to real life now?" Those chickens are coming home to roost now, aren't they? Do not be deceived. God will not be mocked. We always reap what we sow.